April the 20th, 2021. And we are going to be joined in a minute with this dude here, Jean-Francis. You remember? You remember his dating extravaganza? He's been sharing with us his story. Both of his previous updates are in the link below. Okay, so I put both his updates. You remember what happened? Last we heard from Jean-Francis. First, his best lady, Elena. One day she said to my matchmaker, head matchmaker, Tatiana, she said, I believe I met my soulmate with Jean-Francis. And then a couple of days later, after a late night date, she broke up with him. So he called her and set up an appointment on Monday. They spoke, okay? And we're going to find out what happened. What's the update? Are they back on? Are they still off? Meanwhile, he didn't, sob on the weekend. No, he was a man's man, and he had a date on Saturday, a date on Sunday. So we're going to find out how those dates went. And then Peter, who is another client I introduced to, his lady, Ola, introduced him, hooked him up on a blind date with one of her best friends, and they went out on a foursome. So we're going to find out how that went on a blind date with just, a private introduction, right? Because that is a great way to meet ladies, guys. So before we get going any further, let's first take a look at Jean-Francis ladies, and then we'll be back. So this is his top 10 choices, and he's dating quite a few of them right now. Not bad, huh? Some pretty stunning choices Jean-Francis has there. So now let's take a look at this video was shot yesterday live in our offices in Kyiv, and you'll find it on the channel. It'll also be in the full video, will be in the link in the description below. This is a short one, like 13 minutes. But basically, I was talking to Peter, and he says, yeah, we're going in the office to bring some champagne to Ola and Tatiana in the office. And I said, great, can we do a live? And he said, sure, why not? His lady is a trooper as well. So why this is important is because Peter's lady, Ola, introduced Jean-Francis to one of her best friends, and they went on a double date, and we'll hear about that in a moment. So let's just take a look at Peter and his lady, Ola, and their love story, which is pretty cool as well.
This is okay. This is Peter. Hello.
Hi, hello, привет, Olechka, Peter. Nice to meet you, Olechka. We are so happy for you and Peter. We're so happy for you guys. Congratulations on fate, right?
And we've got the champagne.
Oh. Right.
So we can't share it with you.
Do you believe in fate? Maybe it's a good question.
It's not even fate, it's miracles.
Do you believe in miracles?
Yeah, we do.
I would like to say that it's how to say it. Never stop to dream about something. If you really want to do something and want to receive something in your life, everything is possible. Yeah.
Just gotta dream.
It doesn't matter from which country we are. It's just we find out each other. Yes. I suppose that we are out there. We are soulmates. Yeah. And then just to wish happy to everyone who will join, who will apply to your agency and something like this. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Yeah, very happy, eh?
Fantastic.
Brilliant week in Kiev as well.
Peter, you guys are our second love story on the first date this year. William and Lilia just got married, truck driver from Florida.
I was thinking that we will be first.
Oh, how do I get back here? Okay. So like I say, that full video, it's about 13 minutes. It's in the description below this video. And now let's say hi to Jean-Francis. Hey, a Canadian stud.
Hey, guys. As
How
you can
you
see, I'm in a
doing?
much better mood, much better place. So everything's balancing out now.
All right. Yeah, you do look much better spirits, Jean-Francis. You
Yes,
do look.
yes. I feel a lot better too.
Say hi, everyone. I got to say, Jean-Francis, first of all, you become a little bit of a celebrity already on the channel. Everybody's following your story, your love story. And, you know, I met my soulmate. My soulmate broke up with me.
Yeah.
It's quite dramatized. Thank you, first of all, for sharing, you know, your intimate story with us. I really think, and please, guys, comment and thank Jean-Francis yourself, because, you know, nobody's holding a gun to his head to do this, right? He's doing it to help you guys out there, sharing his
It's
ups
pro
and downs.
bono. It's pro bono, guys. I'm not getting paid.
Pro bono, pro bono, just to help you guys. So yeah, feel free to thank him in the chat. But yeah, it really is helpful for guys to see what it's actually like in the trenches dating our beautiful ladies, and what challenges you have, and what about plethora of choice. Does a guy actually have more choice than back home, and what are these ladies like? What are the issues, right?
Yeah.
How important would you say that is, Jean-Francis? You've been to Ukraine before. I remember out of pocket about 10 grand. You've had ladies propose to be your sugar baby on some dates with other agencies.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
you've been through the ringer. And how do you feel about it now? Maybe some pearls of wisdom before we get an update from you.
Keep an open mind, obviously.
Mhm.
And honestly, for the most part, I don't think on this trip I've met anyone who isn't serious, who doesn't have, you know, true intentions. So yeah, everyone's sincere. You know, it's just, and I would say there's a lot of choice. I remember we talked about this a little bit at some point. Guys, there is so much more choice here, and it's almost mind-boggling sometimes. You have to like pinch yourself. Is it really? Is it really? Because there really is that much choice. You know, like I've been looking. There are certain women. I think I mentioned it on the first video. There are some ladies. If I've been in Canada or the U.S., yeah, I'm going forward with this lady absolutely, because there's more positive than negative. But you can do even better. It's like wow.
So how Jean-Francis? I think fair to say you're out of your league back home in Canada, dating here. Yeah,
Pretty much.
how
Pretty much.
how? Thanks for your honesty.
Age-wise, at least, yes.
Looks wise, of course, we're talking about attractiveness, you know,
Yeah.
sexiness and looks wise. So on the sexiness and looks wise scale, how much out of your league, just to give guys a perspective, are you dating here successfully compared to Canada?
Okay. I would say I'm a solid 7. And I'm meeting mostly 9s and 10s. How's that?
There you go. There you go.
That's a good indication, right?
Plus 2 or 3 SMV points. That's good. That's
Yeah.
plus 2 or 3 SMV.
Typically it's like 1 point up or down, and I'm like way over that. So yeah.
Cool. So we're all waiting with bated breath. How did it go? So let's recap.
Yes.
You dated Elena. When did you date her? How did that relationship going? You know, maybe you can just kind of rewind the clock. Not everybody watched your previous 2 videos, which by the way are linked in the description below this video. But do a recap.
Lena, I met the second day I was here. She was my 3rd date, so my second evening date. The day after I arrived, we like connected completely on so many levels. Emotionally, I would say. And guys, watch Anna's chakra video, by the way. It's really helpful. I'm just gonna put a little plug there for your wife.
Yeah, that will be in the description below.
It's really good. It's really helpful. I should have watched it before. You told me about it after. Now I'm understanding more stuff. But anyway, it went so well, and you know, it's after I think even we had a second date the next day because I wanted to see her right away. So I said, okay, I want to see her tomorrow. I remembered your advice. You know, don't propose options, just say we're meeting tomorrow, and works really well, by the way. They like it. So so we met the second date was really great. After that, that's when she talked to Tatiana and Olga and said I could be her soulmate and everything like that. And then on the third date, the shit hit the fan. We got on slippery ground, and unfortunately, I'm not very good with the whole time change and the jet lag thing, and I haven't had a good night of sleep since I've gotten here. So my brain is a little foggy, unfortunately, and I've noticed that I'm more sensitive and I overreact more to stuff right now because I'm not sleeping enough. So we got to a point of discussing different things, and there was a huge misunderstanding. Part of it was cultural, part of it was language, and part of it was me because I was a little bit too tired, honestly. At that point, she basically broke up with me by text, which was not fun, which we have, I think, in the second video. And after that, I sort of regrouped. I had a really bad day, which is the day we filmed the second interview. But I decided not to let that get to me too much and let it stop me from going forward and advancing. I had 2 more dates, which we'll go into, I think, later, and decided, based on your advice and everything like that, to see if there was something that could be done with Lena going forward. So I sent her a gift, a very nice gift, and she was really, really happy. She was even ecstatic about it, and we started the communication again, and we met. We met again, what is it, yesterday? No, day before yesterday we met. And it went surprisingly well. I basically, I followed your advice and Tatiana's advice. You said, just meet her, let her talk. So I let her talk, and I was just asking questions and reflecting, reflecting back what she was saying. So for about 45 minutes, she just said boom, 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 boom. And she told me everything. And she said, this is what I understood, and this is what happened, and this is what you said, and this is why you said it. I'm like, oh yeah, I get why you got that why you got that. You understood that. Because I jumped from one subject to another. They were not related, but they were right like this in our conversation, and she put them together.
So let me ask you. So again, from our side, from Tatiana's side, when Tatiana spoke to Elena, we were told on our end that you said, I don't love you, but after sex, maybe. How was that misunderstanding? How did that happen?
Okay. Basically, what I said, and we went over this together. Now she gets it, and basically, I was talking about our relationship because we had a very, very, very big connection, and I said, well, I have a great connection with you, and I'm getting there. I'm falling in love with you, but I'm not in love with you yet. Period. End of end of part. And then we got into other stuff, and I was actually telling her, you're so wonderful and worth it that I'm completely changing how I am, because usually in the U.S., and here's where I made my mistake, in the U.S. and Canada, things are very quick, much quicker than here. And typically, intimacy is like after 3, 4, 5 dates. I haven't been with someone that things worked out that it was more than 5 dates in relationships in Canada or the U.S. But you see, this was a separate subject. She bunched them together, and she understood from that I was saying without sex, I can't be in love. So that's how the misunderstanding started, and then it got worse, as we started talking about everything, because later on she talked about, well, here in Ukraine, it's important, for the man to show the attention, like you guys say in your videos, and show attention and give gifts and this and that and the other thing. And I had been forgetting to buy her flowers since the first date because I've been wanting to, and I said, since she mentioned that, I said, oh, perfect, let's go get you some flowers. I want you to choose whatever you like, a really beautiful bouquet. And she associated that with the fact that I was buying her flowers because I wanted to sleep with her. So, yeah, and see, total misunderstanding. It was a cultural thing, and she's an English teacher. Even the English there was some misunderstanding there. So, guys, be careful with that. Misunderstandings are very easy to start, and then you have to dig yourself out of the hole. But and like I said, part of it was my fault because I do talk a lot, and I can put my foot in my mouth. I will admit it. So all of that put together made for a disaster, and now we're sort of back on track. But do you want me to talk about the little thing we talked about, or no?
Yeah. As open as you want to be, Jean-Francis.
Okay. Well, I will say it because I know Elena has even said, we still have the issue of, for those of you who watched the other video, we still have the issue that she has decided she is not going to be intimate before she's married. It's a decision she's made. She's been married before, but she's like, I've done this in the past, and I want to completely change the way I'm going with things, and I don't want things to be starting out with sex and starting out with physical attraction. So she's going a total different way. And she actually asked Olga and Tatiana to put that on her profile, even just tell guys that, you know, if you're looking for this, you're not getting it before I'm married, you know. So I'm sort of in a quandary about that. I'm like, well, because, you know, intimacy, it's one of my love languages, and I'm like, can I deal with this? Can I get past it, basically, you know?
Can I hold up?
And I did exactly. And I did ask her. I said, well, okay. And I said, well, if everything else is good, though, I said, are we looking at short period of time or long period of time before marriage? She said, no, as soon as I'm really in, she said, I'll be ready to be married. It can be 1 month. It can be 2 months. It's not going to be a year or 2 years. So
To marriage.
there's at least that.
To marriage.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. She said with me anyway, she said, you know, it's not going to take 6 months or a year. So there will be more misunderstandings. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Hey, Ralph, it's a woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Period. Of course,
women are complicated in good ways and bad ways.
A Slavic woman. Multiply that by exponential something.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. They are much more mysterious, and they're more feminine. Just by the fact that they're more feminine, they're harder to understand. They are. So,
Absolutely.
in a wonderful way, no. I love it, but you have to take that into account when you come here. So
yeah.
And
Guys, Ralph, if you're not prepared to deal with misunderstandings, and that's the beginning of the problems you're going to have. If you're not prepared to improve yourself, to grow, to blend together, to understand, and to conquer all these challenges, then better to stay at home, really.
Yeah.
Because this is not an easy journey to make it to the end, to the finish line, which the finish line is not really marriage. That's the beginning. That's the takeoff point, really.
For sure.
So
to end this whole point, I told her that I don't know. I'm going to react, and she said, "Well, I hope you make the decision that to go forward." But she's open to us seeing each other again, because I told her I need a little bit more time to see how comfortable I am with waiting, however long that may be. So we're going to be seeing each other again, and it's sort of a good thing, because she's an English teacher, as I've said before, and she's very busy today, tomorrow, and Thursday. So I won't be seeing her before Friday. So that's going to let me, think about the whole situation a little bit more and have a better idea of where I want things to go. So yeah.
And you have a second date on Thursday with Peter Olga's.
Correct, with Oksana. With Oksana, yes, I do. And Ola's going to be there too. She's going to be our free translator.
Yeah, fantastic. Perfect English, free translator / more important / friend, right?
Yeah.
So before we move forward on this one, maybe we can just pause here, because I know, Jean-Francis, you're really troubled with this. Can I hold out, about sex until I'm married with this woman, even though she's so fantastic? She feels she's my soulmate, but do I have the staying power? Do you want to ask guys' opinion? Well, we talked earlier, and you said you want to ask
guys, what do you think? Is it a deal breaker to have to wait till after marriage? And is it like a sort of half excuse? Is it just particularly because it's me or whatever? I'd love to know what you guys think. I don't see the chat though, so you're gonna have to tell me, Joe.
Yeah. I'll put up any piece of advice. Yeah. So please, let us know, and in comments after the live, guys, please, what do you think about Jean-Francis? He should wait for Elena and date her and court her and be patient, or bail. He has more options, and you're going to find out his good options coming up here. So here we go. Here's some advice here. 2 months.
Not too long. Okay.
He says, not too much longer.
No guarantee it's 2 months, but yeah. She won't make me wait to give her a chance. She seemed pretty adamant about it because of past experience. Deal breaker. So we're
deal breaker.
Everyone has different opinions. Yeah, I'm really on the fence about it. I really don't know what I'm going to do. Honestly.
Oh, here's one. You should wait till you get married.
Uh-huh.
We're all over the map with the advice. All over the map.
Yeah. My mind's all over the map. So that's thank you guys. That tells me that I'm not completely confused and stupid because all valid opinions. If you really like her, you can
Gregory
hold on,
says you can do it. You can do it.
I can do it. Do I want to do it? That's a different issue.
Spanking the monkey, choking the chicken for a couple of months. Come on, how bad it can be. It's just us boys, right? It's just us boys. Not too many ladies watch these lives. Okay. Well,
thank God.
The thing is too, Jean-Francis, if you can hold off and just build and nurture that relationship until you go home, you've got a long distance period that you can just put that crock pot on simmer, and she's gonna, the pressure's gonna build, pressure. And when you come back, boom, I'll bet you if I was a gambling man.
That's true. Yeah.
There we go. Derek's opinion there. So, you said when we spoke earlier, you want my 2 bits on this, hey?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, the thing is, I'll start with my papa. I'm a Christian guy, and my father was a fervent Christian. He didn't go to church. He just believed in a personal relationship with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And the church kind of gave him a hard time about that in the small town we lived in. But he read that Bible cover to cover many times, knew it backward and forward. And he would always say to me, son, understand this. The teachings of the Bible are for our own best, interest. God wants us to live the happiest life possible. And it says in the Bible, as soon as you start a sexual relationship, basically, you shut down the emotional progression of that relationship. We basically, as guys, a switch flips in us, and we turn into sexual mode. And then basically, if the sex is really good, we don't care if she's a raging lunatic. We will hang in there.
True. Very true. Yeah. My marriage. Hello. Yes.
Yeah. We hang on just for the sex, but is that healthy? And on the flip side, if the sex is bad, we bail.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the sex might have been bad because you didn't build up that emotional foundation. Because women, John Gray, the author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, I've met him twice personally. And, he says, men are like microwaves, women are like crock pots sexually. And the thing is, you can't expect to cook dinner in 1 minute in a crock pot. It takes all day. So the woman's got to warm up. And so we just have to be cognizant of that. And if we do that, there's different ways of looking at this, but if we will be patient and take the time, and here's my big point, just keep pressure off. Like I said, in Slavic culture, they don't talk about sex until after you're doing it. Just remember that rule, everybody out there. It's a hard and fast rule. Don't break it. And if she doesn't feel pressure from you, she will warm up and she will build. The pressure will build sooner. And then by the time you guys do make it to the bedroom, she's already boiling. She's already boiling emotionally. And you've had the time, and hopefully you've had, because you'll have a long time over the distance, months before you come back, probably a second time, right? And that whole time, look at Peter and Olga. Take them, for example. Do you think it was a good thing or a bad thing that they got to Skype for 3 hours a day for 4 weeks? 4 weeks. They got to talk on Skype 3 hours a day until he arrived in Kyiv.
Oh, it was a great thing. Yeah. Yeah. You could tell the connection was already there. So a lot of the work was done. Yeah. And they got the emotional connection. You're absolutely right before the physical connection got there. Yeah.
And do you think, Ola's blood was, closer to boiling after 4 weeks of
Yeah.
basically
Yes.
Skype
Yes.
foreplay?
Yes. Looking at their connection. And you see it in the video too. There's a physical connection, there's an emotional connection, and an intellectual connection, which is really nice,
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, and I've encountered personally kind of both ways, and as you see what Anna said in talking about the 7 chakras, and
Yeah.
how couples can tend to meet, and if you have a powerful first and second level chakra connection, basically you just magnetically.
Yes.
And the sex is out of this world. But the thing is, later you find out, okay, we don't have connection on other chakra levels.
There's nothing else there.
Yeah, that relationship is on a time clock. And I didn't believe, frankly speaking, this chakra stuff and this other analyses that Anna does, quite frankly, until I seen the proof, I seen the results, I seen it with actual couples. And that's what made me a believer. Being a left brain engineer, I need to see the facts, the results. And I can say I'm a believer now. So I think my personal opinion is, if you think you have something really special with her, this is only, your question to answer, of course. But if you think there's something really special there, and you're going to be hard pressed to find that somewhere else, then if you make that decision to focus on her in this trip, get to know her, and just, there's other levels before the bedroom, right? I'm sure you'll get to those levels, that physical intimacy before sex, as who was it that said, was it Shakespeare? Said, I think it was Shakespeare that said, sex begins with holding hands. And that's for a woman, of course.
We've done that. That's been the extent of it, and hugs, but we've done that.
Yeah. So that's my little soapbox speech for you there. Of course, ultimately, the choice is yours, decision is yours. Because now, I don't know, it's a good thing or it's a bad thing, but you have some other good choices. So yeah, if you could share what happened to you. You had a date on Saturday, Sunday, and then with Peter's, the blind date with Peter's Ola.
Okay, well, Saturday was a lady that wasn't in my first 10 ladies. We went, I went back fishing. You recommended that I go back fishing and check, who else was available. I chose several women, and out of that, 3 were interested in meeting me. I have my last date. It's going to be my first date this evening at 6. So the first lady I met was Natalia. She's stunning. She's like 5'9". I'm 6'5", so I like the height thing. With her heels, she's here to me, which is nice. Beautiful woman, and we had the first, the physical connection when attraction was immediate on both sides. And honestly, it's been hard to get past that because it's really strong. It's a really strong sexual attraction. When you're in front of the woman and there's these little silences and the woman's like giving you that smile and the smoky eyes and everything like that. That's a constant thing with her. And I like it a lot, but I'm having trouble getting to connect on other levels with her. Partly because her English isn't perfect, and partly just because this physical thing is so strong. So we've been on 2 dates. They were both really great dates, really nice. It's fun. It's she's very, she's grabbing my hand. She's very physical, which I like because I'm very physical. But it's sort of a good thing because we have like sort of a forced pause. She is or has left today to Zaporozhye because she has shared custody of her son with her ex-husband, who lives there. And she told me she absolutely has to go because he's going on a trip for the Easter holidays. He's leaving for like a week, so she won't see him for a while. So she's gone until the 27th, which we talked about it and we were both happy. We were like, yeah, we're both gonna be able to cool down. She basically said we need to cool down because it was very strong, magnetic attraction. So it's sort of a good thing because it's given us both some time to breathe and then see how that's going to go on that end. So that was her 2 dates, and I met Olga on Sunday, another English teacher. I guess I'm meeting a lot of English teachers. Very nice. I connected really well with her intellectually, and very interesting conversation. But there's no physical attraction on my end, so that's a dead end on that end. As a friend, she'd be great, but no, as for a relationship wouldn't work. And there was no physical chemistry between us. So but a very interesting lady. I got a little bit different perspective because she's dated 2 Americans, and she was pretty serious with one. So she was giving me her her whole life experience and how she sees things. So I'm getting a better idea. I'm still a baby, but I'm getting a better idea of how Ukraine is and how Ukrainian women see things and live things, and then we had like the surprise out of nowhere, Peter calling me and saying, Jean-Francis, you're going to have the best news you're ever going to have from me. He says, Ola has a friend. We had dinner with her, and he said she's a showstopper. She's stunning. She's wonderful, and she wants to meet you. I'm like, oh, cool. So,
yeah, high five.
Virtual high five. Yeah, so like, yeah, she wants to meet you. So unless you don't agree, we've already organized dinner for, this was yesterday, right after the video. We met right after the video that you made with them, like an hour and a half later, 2 hours later. He's like, yeah, we're meeting at the restaurant, and her Olya's son is successful. He's 26, and he's an up and comer, and he knows so many people. So he got us into this one of the really good restaurants in Kyiv that is closed, but not closed. But you need to know somebody. And I thought, we're going there. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful restaurant. It's like Asian fusion sushi, whatever. And I think we're going to be alone, because we have to reserve in advance. The restaurant was freaking full, full of people. Full. Yeah, they threw us out of the tent.
During lockdown.
Yeah, during lockdown.
Welcome to Ukraine.
Exactly. Same thing with Natalia. Both times we got into Carpaccio, which is a restaurant close to your office here. And if you call them in advance and call once you're there, they let you in. And there were people. There were actually 3 other Westerners on dates there at the same time as I was there with her. So it was just funny. And another restaurant that's really, really nice, Matisse. It's on the 15th floor. It's really, really, really good food. Anyways, so I get there, I meet them, and before I was waiting, because they I love to walk in Kyiv, so I got there a little bit early. I didn't take any chances. I'm walking around and waiting, and I'm seeing this beautiful woman. Like, man, she's hot. It was Oksana. So even before I met her, I was like, ooh, I should almost go talk to this woman. Yeah. So, yeah. Turned out it was her. Yeah. And so we went in, and Peter, as people can probably see, is a great guy. He's like high energy, very positive, upstanding guy. And Olga is like she's exactly like you see on the video. She's very open. She's nice. She's extremely smart. She's like a chief accountant for a company. She's worked in London and different places. So, well, guys, here's my thing. I already talked a little bit to Joe about it. I'm gonna ask for opinions on this. It was really interesting, but I got the 3rd degree. It was like amazing. And she had like a whole list of questions in her head, and these really serious questions. She's like, okay, what are schools like in? My daughter's 14. What are schools like in Canada? How much is private school? Do you want other kids? Boom, 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 like this. And you told me it's a good sign they're serious. She's serious. She's checking the boxes, and I'm like, in my head, I was like, how is this possible? This woman, she's 43. She looks 30. She's beautiful, and everything. And I asked you, how is this possible? And you're like, yeah, older women, and especially here's the thing, guys, that I'm worried about. She is very, very well off, like rich. I am not. I am middle class. And Peter had already told me, because Peter's a successful businessman. And he said, Jean-Francis, she's a total package because, he said we went to her restaurant yesterday. It's really nice, and she has this property in a gated community, in the different apartments she's renting out, and she's got this and that and the other thing, and she has a really nice apartment in the center of Kiev besides her house, in one of the nice districts outside Kiev, and everything like that. And actually, we and here's the weird thing, because I noticed it, of course, with talking to her, because I said, well, among other things, I like to drive. She was asking me what I like to do when I pass the time, and I like to drive. And she says, oh, what car do you have? So, thank God I don't have a piece of garbage. I said, I have a BMW. Oh, 6, 7, or 8. I'm like, no, I don't have a $150,000 car. I'm like, I have a 3. I have a 328 X-Drive, And she's like, I told her right away. I said, I'm normal. I'm not rich. She said, oh, it's no problem. No worry. I'm like, okay. So my question, guys, is, how do I react to the fact that she's like way up here in terms of wealth and everything like that, and how's that going to affect the relationship, and especially to you, Joe, for a Ukrainian woman, if she's much wealthier than the guy, how does that dynamic work out? And here's the thing, I'm cool. I'm not going to feel emasculated by it, but I'm not going to take a back seat. That's my whole thing. So I'm sort of wondering what to make of that whole thing. So there you go. So guys, if you have comments, go, and Joe, please give me your opinion.
I will give you mine. Guys, please comment.
She's stunning.
Comment below.
She's like
what do you think? Would you date a wealthy woman that's much wealthier than you? Please comment below. Help out a Canuck brother.
Please help me out. Please help me out here. And in comments, if you're not looking live, I'm going to be reading the comments later tonight. So if any positive comments or anything constructive will be very helpful, because I'm seeing her tomorrow. I'm seeing her, when is it? Thursday. Yeah. So
here's the first one. Don't worry about it. If you're happy together and comfortable with each other, it can work.
Okay, I'm thinking so too, but I just don't know how the Ukrainian dynamic plays out. Because in Canada, I know what it would be. It would be, I've got your balls and you're doing what I want, man. I know that, but I know Ukraine's not like Canada, so.
Joe says, "Go for it." Chance of a lifetime.
I could be a kept man. Yeah.
Oh, here we go, Father Anderson, sugar mama.
Yeah,
you're getting a sugar mama. So here's Derek here, very traditional guy, so I don't think it will work. You're a traditional guy, so I don't think it will work. Well, let me start by this, because it's a very interesting perspective. First of all, guys, I think case in point here is, for you guys out there that still think women in Kiev are broke, it's a myth, okay?
No.
Pardon me. It's a myth. Okay, sure, there's a lot of working poor class, but there still is a substantial affluential class, and this lady is a widow, right? And her ex was wealthy.
Her husband was a very successful businessman, and he died 5 years ago, and of course she got everything, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll put this comment up while I comment, and I will say this. In Ukraine, the other thing is, you wonder, guys, how is it that accomplished professionals, our clients are always in shock and awe. How is it I can date an eye surgeon, a cardiac specialist, doctors, lawyers, engineers, accountants, ladies with bachelor's, master's, and even PhDs, even university professors. You look at Ash, who's engaged to Alona now. Alona was in our database for, well, when we founded Match Guarantee 5 years ago, in the old Olga dating database, she was there. So she was with us for 5 years. She's stunningly beautiful. At that time, she was 29. I met her because another client had a date with her. And she stayed in our database. She's a university professor with a PhD, and she teaches at Shevchenko. And you just go, how can a woman of this caliber be single in our database for 4, say, plus years? It really is confusing to the Western man, because they would be single about that long, right, in Canada. Yeah. Same with this lady. Why is she beautiful? You said she's 42, but she looks 30. She's physically fit, right?
Yep.
She's the whole package. She's a real catch. How is it that she is single? Well, here is the reality of what will be her situation. I know this because I've lived here, immersed in this culture for almost 5 years. Ladies that are wealthy and single in Ukraine, they have a very hard time finding a man because Ukrainian men are very alpha, and they most of them would never be with a woman that makes more than them. They can't, their masculinity can't handle that. For example, Anna's brother said, I would never be with a woman that makes more than me. Luckily, he does quite well. His wife makes pretty good money, I must say, but not more than him. And that's very typical in this culture. So that's the thing to realize about this Oksana, is that she's actually, despite her beauty and her wealth, going to have a harder time than the average Ukrainian lady to find a husband here. So her, her hardship is your benefit, basically.
Yeah.
As
They
I
were
was
talking
saying,
about it, actually. She and Olga were talking about how difficult, because Olga isn't to the point of Oksana, but she's a chief accountant. She does very well. And she was saying the same thing during dinner. It's hard. The Ukrainian men, they're like, no. And they were both saying they can't find someone serious. It's either not serious or the guy is like, has shady connections, shall we say.
Yeah, exactly. And when you look at that little clip with Peter and Olga, you can see how positively minded she is as well. Just a comment that she had to say, have the dream, you can achieve it if you can dream it. I mean, that level of positivity, it's a highly developed, spiritually and personally developed woman. This Peter's Ola. And so also for those kind of ladies, same as my Anna. My Anna also fits in that category. Very highly developed human being. They have a very hard time finding an equivalently highly developed Ukrainian man. So it makes them, it's equivalent to being a rich woman. It makes them also hard to find a Ukrainian man that they're attracted to. Okay. So some comments here.
Proud.
Okay. So
I agree. I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing either. Thank you. I'm like, yeah, it's not necessarily bad at all. In fact, it could be very nice. I could just relax completely. I'm pre-retired right now. I could just, so.
For me, Jean-Francis, I think that it ultimately comes down to how does that fit with your masculinity? Can you handle that? I think if you can handle that, why not? I mean, guys complain about getting gold diggers. Well, this is the opposite. No, tables have turned, right?
I never expected this. Never expected this to happen. I mean, I knew from research and everything, that the ladies you have are high quality, and there are a lot of well-educated ones, and obviously they have careers. But I never expected someone like to be at this level. So
here, Mark poses something to contemplate.
Yeah.
But how is it bad, Mark? I mean, she's richer than Jean-Francis in Ukraine. She'll be richer than Jean-Francis in Canada.
Oh, yeah. She's. I'm guessing it's in the millions of dollars. So it's a totally different ballgame.
Yeah,
totally different ballgame.
Yeah. See, the thing is, Mark, because I know Mark, we have some history. You and I, Mark. If you don't mind me saying, you're tainted. You look through the world of Ukraine with sunglasses that are tainted black, Mark, because you have a lot of black experience with these ladies. So you see everything that's toxically negative, and that is your number one. Well, it's a big minus for you, if you don't mind me saying, Mark. I know you signed up to join the Who Wants to Marry a Foreigner competition, so you'll be getting similar tough love comments from me about that. The thing is, if you're going to be successful here, Mark, you've got to remove those black tinted sunglasses, and you've got to open up the world of possibilities for you. Otherwise, you're not going to be successful. So, yeah. Anyway, back to it. Yeah, I think it's up to you. I think you know, it's a good choice to have.
Yeah, definitely. And it's also good that I have a little bit of time, you know, because I'm gonna see if I can, by some miracle, I can sleep a little bit tomorrow. Because as of right now, tomorrow's a free day. I'm gonna be, you know, who do I like more? That's the problem. I'm not really sure as of right now. They both have like really, really good qualities. And if it hadn't been for the whole explosion with Lena, I I wouldn't even have met Oksana. Okay, so but it
Yeah.
happens, and maybe it happened for a reason. So you know, and you know, so far Oksana has been amazing, you know, and she's really 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 great. But I need a second date because you know there were four of us, and obviously you know we didn't concentrate the whole thing because we didn't want to leave Peter you know hanging and not part of it. Whereas on Thursday it's going to be like basically a one-on-one with Olga basically being the translator. So yeah,
Yeah.
dude,
Dude,
take a
take
chance.
care.
Yeah.
I mean,
I see some
I'll
guys are wishing they were in my position right now. That's nice to know. It makes me feel good.
I will just point out, you know, you've got some breathing room here. That's a huge plus. You know, you have one of your top ladies. She's going away to Zaporozhye for a time. Breathing room. Your Elena is busy until Thursday
Till Friday. Yeah, yeah.
or Friday, and you already have another date with Oksana lined up for Thursday, right?
Correct.
So
Yes.
you've got some breathing room, which is really, really fantastic because I will just point out your risk here. The risk in Ukraine is that these ladies, they have like a hound dog, a sniffer like a hound dog for men that
Mhm.
are seeing other women. I think because of so many cheaters, it's been a honed sense that they all have.
Mhm.
So if you're not fully concentrating on a woman, she feels it. She feels it
Mhm.
implicitly, explicitly, innuendos, your lack of messaging, your change of behavior. They just have this hound dog sniffer. So the risk is if you don't choose, I think you might have like a week
Yeah.
of period here, and then if you're playing the field and if you're dating and focusing on say 2 or 3 ladies, then I just think it gets compoundingly risky, and
Mhm.
and it's in your interest to focus as soon, you know, focus and choose
Yeah.
as you
Yeah.
can. Maybe not burning the other bridge, maybe leaving
Mhm.
that open, being a
Yeah.
little bit game on, just to not burn the bridge. But I
Mhm.
don't also, you know, advocate burning bridges too early because I've seen these relationships. They are volatile, as you've experienced.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
You
then you
can
look
turn on a
back,
dime.
oh shit, I burned a perfectly, you know, great option.
I felt like that after after the next to last date with Lena.
Uh-huh. Father Anderson says monkey branching, but the thing is about Oksana, she has no interest in monkey branch because she's already much richer, right? So you eliminate that. I'm not sure what he meant by that, but
No,
yeah.
she's with everything she asked, you know, she even wants another child, and she was like really, really serious about everything. Yeah.
This is a great point. Thanks, Ralph. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yes, absolutely.
Once you choose, I call it backpack over the wall. It's like it's like this is why I don't agree, and I've never done a prenuptial agreement with a wife, even though there's been a huge disparity in my level of financial and hers because of I call backpack over the wall, which is what Ralph's saying. Once you choose, focus. It's like you
Yeah,
come to a mountain, and the only way you're going over it is you got to throw, or like a wall. You got to throw your backpack over the wall. It's got all
yeah,
your survival gear, and so you have a
yeah,
choice: stay back or throw the backpack over and then follow it. You know,
yeah.
and once you
And
throw that backpack over, you can't stay back because you'll die.
true.
So, in
Yes,
other words,
correct.
it's full commitment to that relationship, and that's the way I believe in pursuing a woman. Yeah.
I agree. I call it the leap of faith. Like, you know, for religion, you just have to jump into the dark, and you're like, okay, I'm here. I can't go back.
You've won the
Government's
lottery.
like, Sonny, you've won the lottery. Yeah, there's that. There's that. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
already joking, like, okay, so so all four of us are going to be going to Zimbabwe because Peter has this amazing place, and Peter's like, yeah, we'll go on safari, we'll go to Victoria Falls, and then then we'll go to Canada and have fun there. Like, they're already planning everything. It's really funny.
Here's a good one. What's your age difference?
In both cases, okay.
Maybe with
Oksana, I just turned 54 3 weeks ago. Elena is 37. Oksana is 43, and the other lady, where it's a physical attraction, she's 40. So
that was Natalia, yeah.
Natalia, yes, correct, yeah.
She's 40.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So Lena's at the limit of the age difference. I would say she's just over the 15 years.
Yeah.
But we connect really well and everything, and she's told me on many occasions that she finds me attractive and handsome and everything. So we're good on that end. And yeah, the other ladies are a lot closer in age, so it's not as big a deal. But yeah, that is important because I followed your advice. When things were going badly, you said you should try a street pickup.
Yeah,
I tried it. I did, and it worked. But the woman was way too young. She was freaking 26. She was interested. We had a talk, and I stopped her on the street. I said, "Hi, how are you? I'm Jean-Francis. I'm visiting. Blah blah blah." And
what age?
We had coffee.
26.
She was 26. Yes.
So tell guys, what did you do? Tell
Well,
guys.
we went for coffee. So, and it was nice, I had a good talk, but I stopped it there because there's no way to have a serious relationship with someone 26 when you're 54. It's not possible. So, but see, guys, the options are there. Even the 26-year-olds are interested in us. So it's like crazy. It's like a candy store in some ways. You have to be careful. It's overload. I'm happy that the weather isn't so great right now because, last year when I was here with you guys, there were so many freaking beautiful women. They were like, I was going on Krishatik and I was seeing a 9 or a 10 every 5 seconds, and it was like it was overload, So many, she's beautiful, she's beautiful, she's beautiful. Like those bad
sensory
commercials.
overload.
Yeah, the guy's looking back and looking everywhere, even if he's with his girlfriend. Now it's better because there aren't that many people walking. But yeah.
So Jean-Francis, let me ask you, can you walk us through, because guys are very interested in the street pickup idea, and it's counterintuitive, but yeah, as being a marriage agency owner and seeing and believing, of course, in what we do, because we deliver results like this, guys that are with us get hitched really quickly in a relationship. But I always suggest to clients that they do street pickup. For why? To boost your confidence level, to understand what's possible in Ukraine, and understand that your value proposition in the sexual marketplace here just went from back home here, or I should say probably in the toilet, to, through the roof. And you need to understand your value. And the thing is, the women here, they see and they recognize and they appreciate your value, not like our, feminazis back home. So just to give guys a picture, how easy was street pickup? What street were you on? How did you approach? What did you say and what happened after?
I was on Krishatik walking because I love to walk. I'm walking like 15 miles a day here because I love the city and it's beautiful and beautiful women to look at. You'd get dizzy. I get dizzy sometimes. It's dizzying. So every once in a while, I get a lady who looks at me and smiles. And I know for Ukraine that's not so typical. It means there's at least a teeny opening, right? So
yep.
And so one of these ladies, she's really cute. She's looking at me, she's sitting down on one of the benches on Krishatik and looking at me and smiling like that, looking at me pass by. I'm like, what the hell? Why not? I just got dumped by the girl I really liked. So if this works out, I'm going to feel a lot better. It was a risk, of course, because if it hadn't, I would have felt worse. But you had told me there's a very strong chance of it being positive, So I went next to her. I said, hello, I'm Jean-Francis. Do you speak English? And she spoke English, which was a big plus. And started talking to you. I said, yeah, hi, I'm from Canada. And what's your name? And everything like that. And I said, would you like a cup of coffee? Because obviously the restaurants are closed, so we had to talk outside. And, we talked about different things. And she started asking me how things were, tell her about Canada, because people love Canada here, by the way, guys, because Canada supports Ukraine 100%. They love Canadians. Okay, if you're Canadian, they love you. They love that we're so supportive of them. And we have a lot of Ukrainians, as you know, Joe, in the Ukrainian origin people, in the West where you're from. So it's very positive, So we start talking. She says, well, what are things like? And and this girl, 26, 26, and she's talking to me about all kinds of like high level stuff, like, oh, well, what do you think is going to happen here in Ukraine and everything like that? And what's the experience in COVID? And we're just going like, talking about different stuff. It was a really nice conversation. Like I said, I ended it because I knew there was no way, there's no way for me to be serious with someone 26. It's just not possible, but it was really fun. It was interesting. And it boosted my ego to a large extent after being dumped. It was really nice.
Kudos to you, Jean-Francis. Kudos to you. Most men, it still shocks me how most men, even like, are shy or too shy to even try. Literally, I've been sitting on Krishatik beside it was this Canadian soldier, but he was, I mean, I don't usually say guys are hunks, but listen, the guy had a beard. He was masculine. He was ripped. His biceps were bigger than my legs. And he was, I think he was 32 or something. And we started talking about the girls, and he says, oh, this girl today, oh my God, she was, and I said, what did she do when you said hi? He said, no, I couldn't talk to her. I was like, dude,
yeah, because we get shot down. In Canada, you get shot down in a really bad way. So it's
I thought, if I look like you?
Yeah. You'd have every woman here in Ukraine.
It'd be dangerous. So,
yes.
Yeah, kudos to you. Guys, can't stress it enough. Come to Ukraine, do street pickup. It will bolster your confidence. There's a really great question here. I want to talk about it. Vincent. So what do you think, Jean-Francis? I'll let you go first.
Your sexual...
Why does your sexual marketplace value go up so much in Ukraine versus the States or Canada or the West? Why is your SMV much higher here?
Well, basically, from what I've been told and what I've noticed, Ukrainian guys are big time players. And like you said, the women, they get smart really fast about it because almost every Ukrainian's a player and they sniff it. They just see it right away. So when they see that you're not like that, there's just a huge opening because you're not behaving like a Ukrainian guy. I know Steve, one of your coaches, shared a video. It's a joke video that the Ukrainian American girl made, but it's true. The guys act like they treat the women like garbage. They literally, oh, you're not happy. You're giving me some lip. Bye. There's 5 other women over there. Go. Yes. So they appreciate it. They like the fact that we're friendly, that we're not players to the same extent that Ukrainians are. Like I said, they learn really quick. Most people I've noticed here that I think by the time they're 18, they've already dealt with 3-4 guys. I'm not talking necessarily they've slept with them, but just all the guys just hitting on them in the same way and everything like that. And they sort of like build an immunity to it. That's how it goes.
I completely agree with you. Guys, if you would like me to do a video, because actually there's a lot of points on this question. I could easily talk for an hour on it. If you want me to do a video, or Anna and I maybe, please comment below and we'll do a video. But I can tell you in 2 words, I can answer this question: supply and demand. In Canada, in the West, there is an oversupply of men and an undersupply of women. And I mean eligible, high quality.
Yes.
Single men and women.
Yes.
And for men, let's drill down on this for a moment. What is a high quality prospective single woman for a man? Well, is she a BBW? No. Big beached whale? No. I mean, a lot of overweight women. Hey, we're talking like dudes here. In our neck of the woods, but women here, they look a bit like they're model types. They walk a lot, they eat well. So
they dress well.
Men need to be turned on by a woman before we're interested at all, right? So she needs to have some sort of facial beauty and some sort of physical beauty, which means slim and sexy, right? And there's just a very limited supply. I'm talking supply in Canada. Come to Ukraine, it flips. The supply and demand curve, they flip. Men, women, it flips. Here, there's an oversupply of beautiful, sexy, beautiful, sexy, intelligent women, and there's an undersupply of single, eligible, serious, this is a very important, serious bachelors that aren't wanting to fuck around, play around on the women here. And even if you think they're serious, you know, this culture, the men do play around. How do I know? I went to a banya with 10 to 15 naked Ukrainian, because in a banya, you strip down, right? A men's banya. It was a private banya every Saturday for about a year. And pile on the piva, the vodka, the sala, and mix it with banya, and you hear everything. You hear it raw and real. So I know what Ukrainian men are like. And that's it, supply and demand. We are in demand here.
Yeah.
That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah. And I would I was going to say something in French. I'll go a little bit further. It's like it's the same thing. It's a reverse thing, you know, and because I know a lot of good women in Canada, and when I was living in Florida, I knew a lot of good women too. But you know, they get snatched right away, and they're off the market, and you're left with a high supply of women that might not be so interesting. And I'm trying to be diplomatic, and here it's opposite. The good men get snatched up right away, and they're married, and you know the women here are very possessive and everything like that. So you have the reverse thing. You know, you have a lot of amazing women looking for a good guy here, where you have, whereas in American Canada, you have a lot of amazing guys looking for, you know, good women, and they don't find them. So yeah.
Derek, you're listen. If you're high alpha, it's going to be easier for you in Ukraine because you're more like Ukrainian. Okay. Yep. If you're a pushover softy man, it's going to be harder for you here because this I need to do a video on, because the truth is Ukrainian ladies, they just, because they're not used to it. They're not used to a guy who can be led around, you know, like, just not used to that. The men, they're the leader. They say where we're going to eat, what we're doing. The woman follows the man, not the other way around, like can be back home. So the thing is, if you allow yourself to be led around by a woman in Ukraine, she loses her respect for you as a man. That's the problem. And that's the problem with softies that, you know, lavish women with gifts and expensive gifts and this and this and darling, what can I do for you? It's too much. It's too much, and they're not used to it. That's the main thing. People only know what they know, and they know Ukrainian men. So I always coach guys, try to be a little bit like a Ukrainian man in the good way when you're dating. At the beginning of your dating, you know, it's the only game here. The game, your game, is to become a little bit Ukrainian when you come here. That's the only game you need. Traditional game. Like these pickup artists, they don't know shit here. I can
agree.
Women better than they can, and they charge.
But you do need to be. I'm gonna agree completely with this, because when I was here last year, I didn't get that coaching, and I was being too much of a pushover. Because in Canada, if you take charge, the woman hates it, and you're done. You know, where it's just opposite. So I've had to adjust my way of thinking. It's like, you know, before I would be like, I'd like to see it, and now I don't do that anymore. You know what I do, guys? I say, okay, I'm seeing you. We're seeing each other tomorrow. Are you free at 6? That's boom. You know, it's like we're doing this, and the woman's like, oh yes, of course, okay, good, and they're actually happy about it, believe it or not. Whereas in Canada, you get slapped across the face for it. Here they love it. So
George, brother, absolutely, bring the
motorcycle. Yes.
Idea. I'm trying to get mine here, and I should have brought it when I came. And my Anna can hardly wait to jump on the back. Believe me, it turns her on like crazy. Just knowing that I have one. So George, it's worth it. And by the way, guys, to import a car from America, because I had a friend do it, a Jeep, $1,500. So for for a Harley, not that much.
I could bring my Beamer if I move here. That'd be cool.
Yeah, $1,500.
Nice.
Absolutely. So
don't be a simp. Yeah. Sadly, that's true. You have to take charge. You have to take charge, and I actually like it. I love it. I feel empowered. But I couldn't do it in Canada. I mean, anybody who knows who's dated in Canada or the U.S., you can't do it because you get killed. It just, you know, the woman looks at you, makes that, you know, bitch resting face, and just turns around and leaves. Whereas here, they like it. I'm like, I'm so happy about it because I can be the man here. It's so nice. It's refreshing, honestly. If I can find a good job, I'd stay here. Oh yeah, it's really nice. It's so nice. Such a good change.
Yeah. It is great, but women like you, they want you and they expect you to be the man. And be the man means many things. Yeah, be the leader. They want to follow. They want to follow you. Also means, guys, you got to bring home the bacon. I was very.
You also have to be a gentleman, though. You have to do it while being a gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole thing. You can't be an asshole. If you act like an asshole, you're done. So you're strong but respectful. You know, it's a good balancing act. But I think it's great. It's wonderful. So.
I was just gonna say, I'll just summarize. I launched a poll on the last weekend, and basically the results were 80% of you guys, over 100 took the poll. 80% of you said the number one reason not to marry Ukrainian women, because we did another satirical humor video, 10 reasons not to marry Ukrainian. The number one reason you guys said, 80% of you said it's financially, because you're going to be, it's financially driven not to marry Ukrainian. And see, this is totally off base, guys. If you want traditional woman, then it goes hand in hand. You're going to have to bring home the bacon and enjoy it. Ukrainian men love providing for the women. They don't bitch about it. They understand. It's expected. It's their role. You know, in Ukraine culture, you take care of the woman and the family, and she takes care of you and all your needs. She cooks and she cleans and she gives you back rubs when you're sore and everything else that you can imagine that goes along with that. She takes full care of you, which, tell me, what American, Canadian, Western woman does that anymore?
Doesn't happen.
The reason, obviously, that 80% plus of you guys are saying that, number one reason not to marry a Ukrainian woman is because you're going to be the financial, basically, doormat. The only reason you guys are saying that is because you really don't know what is Ukrainian women, because you're fishing in the wrong pond. You're fishing in the toxic cesspool of PPL, Tinder, and that's the only reason you would say that. Because if you came here like me and lived here for 5 years, you would see you can pick up any good girl on the street. You have a better chance of finding a good girl in Silpo or on the street than you do on PPL or Tinder. So just be able to open your mouth and say, "Hi, my name is Jean Francis. I'm from Canada." And you're good to go. So, Jean Francis, I think we've been burning an hour and 10 minutes.
Okay.
So we're going to keep following you. Yeah, you want us to keep following your journey?
Yes, absolutely.
As it unfolds.
I will brief you on my choice when the choice is made. Should be fairly soon. I'm not going to burn the bridges like you said, because I know if I double date too long, they're going to notice, and then I'm going to just blow up both relationships. So I'm going to make a fairly quick decision. Fairly quick. Within about a week, I'm pretty sure I'm going to know where I'm going with everything. So If you want, I'll be happy to do another live once that's done.
Fantastic. So stay tuned, guys.
Maybe introduce the lady too. That would be cool, like Peter did.
Yeah, that would be cool. That's a tall order. I can tell you, in 5 years, ladies, they're even camera shy, let alone video shy. So it's been a great week having you and Peter in town. It's been a great week. Being in the dating trenches with you. So thanks again, Jean Francis, for being so open and forthright with everybody.
And
appreciate
your guys, don't give up and give it a shot. Give it a shot. It's worth
Just
it.
Come here and say hello. My name is Jean Francis. I'm from Canada.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, high five, brother. All the best.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best.
Bye, guys.
Keep in touch, and we'll be back with you live as your story unfolds. Yeah.
Excellent. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks.
Bye, Jean Francis. Bye-bye.
Have you been searching for a beautiful wife? Do you dream of meeting the perfect woman, but haven't found her? Well, imagine if there was a simple way this could all change for you. Imagine if there was a Canadian marriage agency that would introduce you to as many beautiful women as it takes until you find the one. Ukraine, a lost world of beautiful traditional women. At last, a place where you can find the beautiful wife you have always dreamed of. Every Ukrainian woman dreams of having a happy family. Now you can have a traditional beautiful wife from Ukraine, creating happy family memories forever. So what are you waiting for? Register right now and Skype our beautiful ladies completely free. So what makes us different, you might ask? Why not ask Google simply by searching Match Guarantee Reviews?